So it's been a few days since the Resident Evil Netflix news broke that they were canceling the series. There would be no season 2. I'll be honest with you all, I thought the series was alright. I thought it was okay. The writing aside, the writing was bad. And when it first dropped that Lance Reddick was playing Wesker, and a lot of you all were bombing my DMs, can you believe this? I'm like, man, chill. It's probably a Wesker clone. And it turned out to be a Wesker clone. You know, I mean, people need to chill. Lance Reddick, and look, here's the thing, he's a good actor. He's a fine ass actor. And I've liked a lot of stuff he's been in. And he put out a message saying, you know, thank you to everybody who supported the show. And he did speak out against the trolls and the haters and stuff like that, which he has every right to do. Now, this is not me defending this show by any means, so don't get it twisted. Okay, we're going to go in here in a second, but I want to get the elephant in the room out of the way. Because a lot of you all have said, can you believe he dogged the fans like that? He's not dogging the fans, he's dogging trolls. There's a difference, right? So we're going to get into it, though, real quick. He had every right to say what he said. He's defending his project. He's defending his work. He has every right to do that. Did he look like a Blade cosplay? For sure. For sure, there's no way around that. There's no way you can't say that's what, but that was funny or whatever. But I thought for what it was, he played his role, he did his part. The writing was not good. But at the base of all this, the base issue at all this is we have said for years, what? Capcom, whichever bargain bin studio makes the next movie, you know, Screen Gems or whatever, whichever Big Lots version studio makes the next live action adaptation of Resident Evil, we just want the fucking mansion. We just want the fucking mansion, right? Don't get crazy, don't get cute, don't get clever. You know, we have just been, for years, you know what? We just want to see Alpha Team go in and investigate the Spencer Mansion, look for Bravo Team. That's it. That's all we've wanted for the first movie. Let the tickets come in as they may. If you get a second movie, do Nemesis. If you get a third movie, do Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 could cap off a trilogy of movies. When I heard Netflix was doing a series, I was like, oh my god. You could have 10 episodes to dedicate to the Spencer Mansion and the fallout of that? Give me that all day. Give me that all day. Character driven. Real drama. Real horror. Give me that all day, but no, they screwed the pooch on it. We've already got the games. They're better than any live action adaptation that some busted ass, you know, Save-A-Lot, Goodwill production studio is gonna give us. So just stop with the live action production. Just stop it. The Resident Evil franchise has made close to $6 billion in 25 years. Give or take. I know there's some adjustment for inflation in there. 4 to 4.5 billion of that is just the games. That's just the games. So what this tells me is you're not getting a whole lot of casuals going from the live action stuff to the games. You've got people that buy the games that are fans for years that are hoping this next live action adaptation is good. And it never is. Now, this Netflix series could have gotten to a point in season 2 where you fix the writing, the characters are fine, because the characters are subject to the writing. The actors can only do what they're given on script. So I don't fault the performers for that. The cast, I thought it was well cast for what it was. The writing was terrible. And I'm not just talking about the Zootopia porn references. There were some dialogue bits and stuff in there that were rough. There were some dialogue transitions and things like that were just awkward. There were some editing choices that were just very awkward. But I think it's time to let the live action Resident Evil die. It's time to no longer inject it with the T virus. It is shambling down the hallway as we speak. I mean, it's It's just waiting to devour the next person wanting to buy a ticket to go see live action Resident Evil. That's all it is. We need to put an end to this whole, whatever board member's cousin needs a job gets to write the next Resident Evil. Or whatever board member's college roommate who he thought would be a good filmmaker back in college, but now he's working like as a set producer on some sitcom. Let's let him direct the next Resident Evil. That shit has got to go. Got to go. The Welcome to Raccoon City movie. I thought the casting was fine. The casting was okay. It did not need to be Resident Evil 1 or Resident Evil 2. It should have been Resident Evil 1. And then you could cliffhanger with Resident Evil 2. And Wesker was wrong. Wesker was wrong. Like, the most basic principle to get. The evil in the first Resident Evil is the underlying threat of some mystery person. And it turns out to be the guy you were relying on the whole time. The captain of your unit. That's good shit. But apparently Hollywood doesn't think so. That I could do my own creative vision and I'll make it better. Yeah, you flopped. You didn't even make your production back. Good job. Back of the line. Get to the back of the line. Go back to catering. Go back to making sure the catering is showing up on time. And try again when they need a sitcom director to stand in for an episode. Get the fuck out of here. You would think it would be so simple to write a good Resident Evil story. With the characters, because Resident Evil is character driven. We love the characters in Resident Evil. It's not because of zombies and shit. That's played out. It's played to death. I said when I played the first Last of Us game, it was a genre that I was completely done with. But it was the relationship of Joel and Ellie that made me love that game. That was what was special about that game. The game itself was run-of-the-mill. Survival horror. It's been done to death. I've seen it. I've done it. The relationship, the characters made it good. That's the same thing with Resident Evil. The characters, Chris, Jill, Barry, Rebecca, Wesker, you get into Leon and Claire and William Birkin and all these other great characters that come to mind. Jill Valentine's my favorite Resident Evil character, We have yet to see them give her justice. The best Jill Valentine live action attempt was Sienna Gilroy in the second Resident Evil movie. That was it. Full stop. Buck stops there. Here's the other problem with all the live action Resident Evil stuff that they do. Part of the suspense and the drama of Resident Evil in each game is preventing the end. Preventing the apocalypse. The live action stuff doesn't get it. Because it wants to get right to the apocalypse. Like, that's not the point of Resident Evil. Resident Evil is counting your bullets in a corner, in a dark corner, praying that the thing in the hallway keeps going by and doesn't come in the room you're in. It's protecting the public, the people that don't know these things exist, the monsters that are under your bed that you don't know are there, that are under your feet, that are in the shacks and the shanties out in the woods. Select few people that know about these things and protect other people from these like corporate conglomerates that are like orchestrating the end, but get stopped by these random trained civilians. I mean, it's crazy how much they obviously don't understand the core principles of the story. They just have no understanding. They're like, zombies, monsters, here's some pictures of some liquors and tyrant, here's some picture, this is what they are, go crazy, it's a sandbox, have fun with it. No, it's not a sandbox. That's the problem. These live action adaptations always want to jump right into the end. Well, then you've lost. What's the point? What's the end game now? You know what I mean? So, just a total lack of understanding, like I said, of the core principles of what make this series great, and part of the tension, part of the drama is preventing that catastrophic ending. That's part of what makes it great. And these studios just don't get it, and they're never going to. Because they're never going to make people sit down and actually play through a couple of the core games to get a feel for the story and the characters before they sit down and write something. No, they're just going to crank out a script based on what's been fed into their ear, and they YouTube a few things, And then, boom, there's your day. There's your day's work. Turn it in. Whoever is making the calls on this stuff at these companies, they don't need to be making these calls anymore. Because we have shown as a fan base for years, it's a loyal fan base. It's a loyal fan. Now, there are trolls in every fan base. Trust me, I'm a Final Fantasy VII fan. I know about shitty fan bases and trolls. We're going to talk about that in another video very soon. Real talk. But anyway, Resident Evil is not without its share of that, right? But it's, by and large, a much more chill fan base. So, I think you got to pull the plug. I think you guys say enough is enough. The live action stuff's been on life support for whatever reason. Review bombing. People need to stop looking at reviews on Metacritic and things like that too, because review bombing is a thing. Unfortunately, it's a terrible thing. People need, studios that have hundreds of millions and billions of dollars need to have a better way to garner true feedback on a production. Because just going to a website that any Tom, Dick, and Harry can have 15 accounts for, they can just review bomb something, you got to do better. Look, Hollywood, there's a lot of places you got to do better. And this is one of them. You've got to find a better source for reviews, because this shit doesn't work. And you're lazy. And you're lazy with this shit. Like, I get sick of seeing rich people just find lazier ways to do lazy shit. And Resident Evil live action, unfortunately, is a poster child for lazy rich people doing lazy shit. So, you've got so many creators out there that are talented writers, talented creators that would give a fuck about this franchise. But you hand it off to somebody who has failed miserably at their job repeatedly, and you want to give them another chance because they were your buddy in college, or they're your cousin and they just need a break, or whatever, you know what I mean? It's all who you know and who you blow in that industry. That's what it is, baby. And some more creators need to rise up and go up there and say, put their shit on the table. Be like, this is what's going to work. Let me write this. This will work. No, you've never heard of me. Let me write it. And I'm not saying me. I don't want that. I've got my own thing I'm doing. I don't want that. But there are writers out there that I know are talented, that I know could produce better than what I've seen so far. I've seen fan scripts of their take on the second or third, or even Resident Evil 4. I've seen fan scripts, and I'm like, why has nobody in Hollywood seen this? Gatekeeping, that's why. But anyway, you cannot keep producing subpar content, subpar writing, subpar project management with your live action productions and expect fans to keep just shilling out money because they love the franchise. The buck stops. The buck stops here. This is it. That's it. As far as like Resident Evil live action productions go, I think this Netflix series has been the best attempt so far. It was better than Welcome to Raccoon City. They were doing their own thing with it. It's set in the future, so it wasn't beholden to anything, but the writing really fell apart. And I saw what they were trying to do with it, which is why I was hopeful for a second season, but that still doesn't make it like up to the standard that we expect from the games. Unless it's even close to that bar the games have set for writing and suspense and storytelling and characters and drama and horror and all those things, then you've got work to do. You have work to do. So before you present another project like this to the fan base, and you watching this video, you're gonna have your own opinion. You're gonna say what you say. I don't give a fuck. This is my opinion. You don't like it, there's the door. Alright? Alright, let me get that out of the way first. Or lastly. Not first, I should have said that at the beginning, right? But, you know, I don't want to see a bunch of shitty comments on this video. That's not what this is for. This is my opinion. You can take it or leave it. You like it? Fine, great. You don't like it? You can take a fucking hike. I don't even care. I am so upset that it has taken... They've been trying to make a movie, a good live action adaptation for 21 years. Can you imagine? Any other franchise, they took stab after stab after stab after stab for 20 plus years, and they're still cranking out badly written shit? You put your best guns on this. You put your best troops on this. If Warner's making it, if Fox is making, I don't care who's making it. You put your best team on this. This shit's for the birds, and y'all need to stop, because the buck stops here. Fan base needs to stop paying to see this shit. I stopped going to see the movies, I think, after the 4th movie. I was like, I'm out. I'm out. I think the last one that came out, I never even watched on Netflix. Well, it was on Netflix. I didn't even watch it. I watched those CG movies. They're okay. Before I watched this shit. The Netflix series, I watched it. I thought it was okay. It was their best attempt yet. But still, Netflix doing Netflix things, cancel after 1 season. You know, and Cowboy Bebop. You know what I mean? I'm going to do a video on that one too, how Netflix just cancels shit, right? Give us the rights to your project so we can cancel after 1 season. No. Anyway. Rant over. I hope you all enjoyed my peace of mind on that. And I think I come off the cuff. That's what I do in my videos. I didn't have bullet points for this. I just came off the cuff. No script. I don't do video essays and bullshit like that. So for all of you who keep asking me to do video essays, they ain't happening. I give my thoughts on something. I'll give my predictions. I'll give my theory speculation on stuff. And we go down the road and we have a pleasant day. So, but anyway, y'all have a great night. Be safe. Be good to each other and keep rocking. I'll see you all in the next video coming very soon. Y'all take care. I want to say a quick thank you to my YouTube and Patreon members and supporters. If you would like to support the future creation of content on this channel, get some few extra perks and some art sent to your door every month, consider becoming a Patreon or YouTube member. Details and links are in the video description.